All right, folks. Hello and welcome to Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's Sunday night. Doing my usual tutorial video for the NASCAR Legends Series, the 1987 Cup Series cars. We're at Charlotte Motor Speedway this week, Legacy Charlotte. It's going to be a night race, 75 laps. Y'all will be happy to know that I did do the testing on it, and it doesn't look like that if it goes green, that trying to make it without stopping is a viable strategy. You're probably going to want to try to go a little bit past the halfway point. Stopping later is usually better because you get the draft all the way with the new tires, and you'll actually pick up a little bit of time at the end of the run on old tires. So I think that stopping later is better than short pitting. That's usually the case in these cars. They also tend to hit a pretty good plateau. When you're into a run, it'll level out to around 33 threes. In this part here where I'm running 33 fives and sixes, I was experimenting with trying the high line and things like that. One thing I should note with this is that I was on the baseline setup for a lot of this. It was my first time running the Buick, which, by the way, here's the debut of the new a red circle Martin Esports car that I'll be running, my Buick, painted by Cosmin Iwanisu. I think that's how it's pronounced. I actually didn't confirm with him on that, but I hope it's right. Anyway, he did a great job on the car. So this is the Buick that I'll be running in this series going forward. Pretty cool looking car. But yeah, so since I was in the Buick, I didn't think to queue up the set, so I was on baseline. It looks like baseline's actually pretty close to the setup that they're running for Charlotte, though. This lap here, 31.831, was set in the baseline. This one here, the 833, was set in the Charlotte setup. That's actually the wrong Charlotte Oval setup. Goodness me. There is no Charlotte 2008, so I think we're going to be on the Charlotte 2018. The schedule says Legacy, so I think it'll be the same setup. Anyway, I'm all out of sorts tonight. So let's see. As far as line and tires go, you're going to be wanting to run a bit of an arc in the corner. I'm going to show you this lap here, which is the fastest one that I did after switching over to the proper setup. Again, I don't know how different they are, but this is a pretty good out lap. You're going to want to run high, mid-high, kind of right along that seam. Try to get a really good exit off 4. When you hit this line, about 172 is a good speed when you hit the line. Entry into corner 1, you're going to want to swing out by the wall and do an arc down, and you're going to want to try to have some slip angle in the car, a little bit of skew. Right there I actually slipped, so that exit could have been better. And then down into 3, same thing. I like to take more of an arc and not get down to the center until about the apex. With turn 3, it is a little bit different. I'm not keeping it as low on exit as I do on turn 2. But that's the lap. Going to go back and watch it again. And the line that I'm running doesn't really change much as the run goes along. A lot of throttle play, very little brake used here. You're going to be wanting to play with the throttle a lot, so just tap the brake to set the entry, get back to the throttle, and you can see how I'm not fully on it for a good part here. I'm kind of bouncing, and then it gets up to full throttle on exit, but I'm not going full throttle immediately. And what I'm doing with both with the brake, minimum brake bias, 16:1 steering ratio. So with the brake and then with the throttle play, we're looking for slip angle. That's the desired goal, and that's what we want. And you can see it's better illustrated over here in turn 1. But you can see how the left front's almost right down on the white line, and there's a much bigger gap between the line and the rear tire. That's what's known as slip angle, this angle right here, with where if you were to draw a straight line back. So that bit of skew, that's what you're controlling with the throttle, and you're going to want to do that because the difference in speed, if you're driving it off that right rear versus not, so you're going to want to, do some laps, get comfortable with trying to control that little bit of a slide. Now, you don't want to be just absolutely torturing the tires. You want the thing rolling most of the time. But that slip angle right there is what you're going to want to shoot for, and it does have a little bit of a feel of driving off the right rear. Now, you don't want to overdo it because it is possible to just completely torch your right rear tire, and a blowout of the right rear, if you get it down to 0%, is not something you want. Now, you have to torch it pretty good if you were to get to a point where it would actually blow in, 37, 40 laps or something like that. You're probably going to want to try to stretch your last pit stop or your pit stop to be more in the lap 50 range. You don't want to pit too late, and you don't want to necessarily run it completely dry, but you also don't want to pit too early because short pitting in these cars really doesn't work too well. Generally speaking, if a car is catching another one on fresher tires, they're usually able to catch and pass them. With that, in my experience, I've just noticed, in these races that the folks who pit later tend to do a little bit better because they're able to utilize the draft off of the car in front of them while they're catching with fresh tires, and they tend to catch them before the advantage on them as fresh tires goes away, and that makes American to pass really easy. Passing at Charlotte is going to be difficult. You're going to generally, the car that's on the outside on corner exits, in the past, I've noticed that you get a little bit of an advantage with that. It's harder to pass on the bottom, especially when the tires wear, because these cars really like to use all the track and go right out to the wall. I did play around with the outside line. I couldn't get it in my limited testing to be as quick as the bottom line, which really felt more optimal. But, playing around with some more tomorrow, it's possible that that outside line will come in. I've seen it in the past in these cars at these types of racetracks, these 1.5-mile racetracks, where that works. So, that's not a huge amount. One other thing that I want to touch on, and this is, this is only going to be come into play probably if you have an early caution, like a lap 1 caution, which can happen sometimes. You can't make it on fuel for a whole 75 laps. However, with 1 caution period and a whole lot of saving, you can save almost enough fuel by clutching going into the corners and then picking up the throttle and running basically your same line, just with a whole lot of clutch. That saves a lot of fuel. So again, if you watch the throttle inputs here, I'm dumping the clutch as I go in. I'm still using brake, a little bit more brake, but you're just letting it roll and then pick up the gas as normal. You can run, if you practice this technique, you can run the same lap times that you would run normally, but save a lot of extra fuel. Not the 10 laps that you would need to get all the way, but you can save 6 to 7 laps worth of fuel doing this. So again, 1 caution period might be enough, especially with topping off, is probably going to be enough to make it the whole way. So an early caution, from an early caution, some people might save and be able to do it, but they probably wouldn't be able to make that work versus a one-stop strategy if it went caution-free the whole way. But 1 caution could throw that in. So just keep that in your back of your mind and be prepared to either run that strategy yourself if you think it makes sense, or to counter someone else running the strategy. Be aware that that might be something you might be up against. that's about it. Uh, keep mindful of your tire wear as always. These cars tend to level out. Again, I noticed that I was leveling it out at around a 33 to a 33.3. Probably a 33 flat is going to be somewhere where it levels out. Usually about a second off of the hot lap pace or thereabouts tends to be where things level out with these cars. My lap again, I'll go back and we'll show you the hot lap here. I ran a 31.83. I'm sure that folks will be faster than that. I haven't done enough laps to say that that's my absolute best pace, and you can see with that little bobble right there, this isn't the fastest possible lap, but it should give you a decent sense of the line, and especially if you're not ended up in that top split, or the SOF, the absolute peak SOF split. This line should help you out a lot, and it's something to aim and target for. And then just running it out and fully optimizing it will probably get better lap times. So I'm going to cut the video here. I hope that this is some good tips for you guys. A little bit shorter than the past than what we did for Dover a couple weeks ago. But good luck to you guys tomorrow and through the week. I hope this is helpful. If you have thoughts, suggestions, comments, questions, leave them in the comments below. If you like the video, please do click that like button, hit subscribe, head over to twitch.tv/JohnTheodoreLive. Click the heart to give me a follow. Thank you very much. Peace out.